Omarosa Manigolt's exit from the White House has black Republicans jubilantly declaring the Wicked Witch is dead. Manigault was a tyrant, a manipulator, a user, and a liar who kept other African Americans out of the White House on purpose, said Sean Jackson, chairman of the Black Republican Caucus of Florida. Other black leaders celebrated Manigault's demise for the same reasons, with one, the Maryland GOP's Eugene Craig, telling DailyMail.com, "She wanted to be the only senior black Republican in Trump's orbit. There's some people whose claim to fame is that they are the only. It is ironic that they use the same 'I was the only one it didn't work out,'" said Thurgood Marshall College Fund President Johnny Taylor. Another source said, "None of us lost any sleep, and there's some silent cheering going on that she lost her position." A former reality TV star who appeared on The Apprentice with Donald Trump and was fired by him on 3 separate seasons of the show in the last decade, Manigault is known to many Americans as the celebrity villain Omarosa. She likes to stress that she has a history of working in politics, dating back to her days as a low-level staffer in Bill Clinton's administration and coming full circle to her time managing black outreach for Trump in the general election. Manigault subsequently joined Trump's White House earlier this year alongside a slew of mostly white senior staffers. Her version of a Tuesday firing is that she resigned because she was unsettled by the administration's handling of racially sensitive issues like Charlottesville, the death of Gold Star widow Myshia Johnson's husband La David Johnson, Trump's dispute with kneeling NFL players and the rise of Roy Moore. Armstrong Williams, a friend of Manigault's and the campaign manager for Ben Carson when he ran for president, would not be interviewed for DailyMail.com for this article. Before the businessman stopped giving interviews on Manigault's dismissal, he told The Washington Post that as recently as last week she told me about her concerns about the president endorsing Roy Moore. It bothered her, being a woman. Multiple sources told DailyMail.com that Manigault was fired by White House Chief of Staff John Kelly and claimed that her conduct was the problem. "He was just tired of her ranting and parading around as if she owned the place," Jackson said. "She's a bald-faced liar," he stated. Manigault has declined to speak on the record about her time in the White House, as she is still, technically an employee there. But she indicated Thursday that when she's free to do so, it will be quite the tell-all. "When I can tell my story, it is a profound story that I know the world will want to hear," she said. In an interview on Good Morning America, Manigault hinted that tensions with Kelly were at play. She also claimed to have witnessed behavior in the White House that made her uncomfortable and said it contributed to her departure. Going further in an interview with ABC's Nightline program, Manigault claimed fellow aides didn't know how to interact with minorities. Manigault said then that it was lonely to work in the White House, where she was the only senior, African-American woman. Upon hearing that interview bit for the first time, Taylor, head of TMCF, an umbrella organization for historically black colleges and universities, laughed out loud. "I can tell you she wasn't busy working to get others in there," he said. "If you had the influence, if you had the ear of the president, why didn't you have a role in getting more African Americans in there?" Taylor said Manigault's constant claim that she was the only high-ranking African American in Trump's White House annoyed others blacks who wanted to work there because she propped herself up as the gatekeeper to the administration. "Perhaps if you had used the year to increase the number of others, then you wouldn't be alone," he said. Craig, a young Republican who launched the Ready for Kanye PAC, said Manigault was totally disengaged from the community of black Republicans she was supposed to be working with in her role as Communications Director of Communications for the Office of Public Liaison. "She's metaphorically given us the finger since about a month from the convention," he said. "She's making sure black Republicans were held to an almost impossible standard. She was a major roadblock and speed bump to a lot of black Republicans getting into that administration," he added. The White House could not say on Thursday how many African Americans currently work in the building. Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders instead said, "We have a very diverse team at the White House, certainly a very diverse team in the press office. And something that we strive for every day is to add and grow, to be more diverse and more representative of the country at large, and we're going to continue to do that." As Manigault has herself said, she is the only senior, African American working in Trump's White House. Sources who spoke to DailyMail.com said that it was by design. Anytime you had a brand bigger than Omarosa's, you had to go, and she was going to make it her business, one said. It was that type of high and mighty behavior that eventually led to Manigault's downfall, multiple people asserted. One person told DailyMail.com that Manigault was canned on Tuesday because she berated the executive director of the administration's Historically Black Colleges and Universities initiative in a phone call that was overheard by two senior Department of Education officials. One of the two told Kelly about the call and was assured by the White House Chief of Staff that she would be gone by Monday. The Department of Education and two of the staffers involved declined to comment. Two people detailed Manigault's abuse to other aides who worked with her in the OPL at the White House. Sources asked that the individuals not be named, as both are still working in the Trump administration. "I know for a fact that she came after other African Americans who were perceived as taking away from her stature as the only African American of import in this administration," one person said. Jackson, whose relationship was once close with Manigault but he says now is beyond repair, said of the White House official, "She was just a tyrant. They were intimidated and in fear of their jobs being in jeopardy." Jackson says he was told that Manigault was on her way out a month or so ago. Kelly, the retired four-star general who oversees the White House's day-to-day operations, still did not really understand what her direct role was, he stated. Manigault made it known to other aides that she had a tight-knit relationship with the president, Jackson said. Chief Kelly saw clearly though all of that. He saw what an instigator she was when it came to the president. Black Republicans who would otherwise be working with the administration said they are hopeful that they will have a productive relationship with Kelly and other senior White House officials, especially when it comes to the HBCU's initiative, once Manigault is out of the picture.